Alright, welcome back. I've got a new draft league.
Damn, Daniel! Back at it again with the white van!
We're in the Hybrid Underground League Offseason 1. And obviously the format is Gen 9 National Dex Little Cup with Z Crystals. So we know National Dex, some of the Pokemon have been cut out of games recently, but you can use everyone in National Dex. So for Little Cup, you can only use the small guys. It was first in Pokemon Stadium 2 on the Nintendo 64. So it's a bit weird to put into words, but the Pokemon have to be level 5, or sometimes lower, but this league they have to be 5. And they must be able to evolve and have not evolved. So we'll see Pikachu can evolve, but it's already evolved from Pichu. So Pikachu's not allowed. Raichu's not allowed because he can't evolve. So it's just the little Skrunklies. Like Pichu because he can evolve. Stuff like Pidgey, Wooper. So in this, I guess, it's part of the format, I think, is there's an item clause. Because there's 2 items in Little Cup that you don't usually see. There's Eviolite and Berry Juice. And Eviolite's really good. It gives you 1.5 times boost to your defense and special defense if you're not evolved. And you can evolve. So that's everyone in Little Cup. It's basically the standard item. But there's an item clause that you can only use up to 2 of each item. So 2 Pokemon can have Eviolite, and the other 4 you have to find something else. Berry Juice is another good item in Little Cup. You get it by giving a berry to Shuckle, and then it ferments, I think, into this juice. And it only heals 20 hit points, which isn't great normally, because everyone's got 300, 400 hit points. But at level 5, a lot of guys have 20 or 30 or less hit points. So Berry Juice is close to a full hit heal on some guys. Alright, so Z moves were in Gen 7 only. If you give a crystal, a Z crystal, there's one for each type. If you give it to your Pokemon, they can use a Z move. You can give as many crystals as you want, but you can only use 1 Z move per battle. So even if you give 2 different guys a Z crystal, only one of them will be able to use a Z move. So Z moves are super powered moves. There's 2 kinds. There's attacking, which gives you 70 to 80 extra base power to your attack, which is pretty crazy. Stuff like Thunderbolt's 90 base power, so you're almost doubling how strong your attack is. It's also good because it removes most downsides of moves. If you want to use Z-Fly, that's a strong flying move without a startup charging turn. Or if you want to use Z Focus Blast, there's no accuracy check. Z moves always hit. And they even do damage through Protect. They do quarter damage, I think. But you still can't completely protect against them. So attacking Z moves are just big hits. Supporting Z moves are a bit strange. I'm not quite sure about them. But basically, if you use Growl or something, you'll get a bonus effect. I think for Growl, the normal effect is lower your opponent's attack by 1 stage. I think with a Z move, you also raise your defense by 1 stage. So there's some supporting Z moves that are really good, but I think most of the time you're just going to use attacking Z moves. And fun fact about me, I don't think I've ever used a Z move, because I didn't really play Gen 7. So I guess this league will be the first time I ever use one, so that's exciting. So this is The league, it's not called Skrunkle City. I just made that for myself because I think it's kind of funny. It's just HUL Offseason 1. The host, I guess, is Willow Rush. I assume you pronounce the V like a U. But the format is National Dex Little Cup. It's going to be pools and then playoffs. So there's a pool of 6 and a pool of 5 because there were 11 people that signed up. And I'm in the pool of 5. So I assume we're going to play each other once. And since there's only 5 people in my pool, we'll probably have a bye week. And then at the end of that, it'll probably be the top 2 players in each division, but I'm not really sure how the playoffs is going to work. So each team you get to draft 8 Pokemon. Terra is banned. Most cut moves are allowed. The exception is Hidden Power. And you can select up to 2 Z captains that are 7 or less points, so kind of like mediocre Pokemon you can pick, not the best guys. So that means whichever Z captains you pick at the beginning of the season, those are the ones you can give a Z Crystal and use during the game. Omni Boost Z moves are banned, so there's some stuff like Z Celebrate or Eevee's Z move that give you +1 in every stat, which are really good, and too good even, so they're banned. And you can use Baton Pass, but you can't pass any stats or a substitute. Alright, our first Pokemon is Abra. Deuce McBride even. He was my first pick. I had the second pick overall. The first person picked Scraggy, which I'm finding out is banned in a normal format Little Cup. But we got Abra. I picked Abra. He's fast. I think he has the highest special attack in Little Cup. And 90 base speed is also really fast. There's only like Elekid and Voltorb that are faster. I picked Abra because I'm not too familiar with Little Cup, but I have used Alakazam in Gen 5. So that's similar, where you have Magic Guard, so you can't take any residual damage from like Stealth Rocks or Sandstorm or Toxic even. So you either give him a Focus Sash, so he always survives a hit no matter what, even though he has 0 defense pretty much. Or you can give him Life Orb, which boosts your attack by 30%. And usually you take damage, but with Magic Guard you wouldn't take damage, so it's just a free power boost then. So I picked Abra because he's fast, he's strong, and I'm sort of familiar with what he can do. Next we have Tyler Kolek. We've got Stunky. I wanted someone who could resist Dark and Ghost types, and our Dark type Stunky can do that. He's also pretty fast for Little Cup standards. His abilities aren't too great. Aftermath is alright. But he's pretty strong. He can use Sucker Punch for priority, which is really good. We have Mikhail Bridges, which is Toad School. I think I wanted a ground type next. Yeah, I wanted a ground type, and I picked Toad School because he also resists ground, which is Stunky's weakness. So his ability is Mycelium Might, which makes status moves move last. I think there's a positive effect to that. It like goes through. It's kind of like Mold Breaker. It goes through like Magic Bounce and stuff, so you could swore not to if you wanted to. Next we have Jalen Brunson, and that's right, it's Piplup. It's my favorite guy, so we had to pick him. Shellos is probably better, but I like Piplup, so we picked Piplup. He's got Roost, so he's got Recovery, and other than that, he's probably just kind of okay. Competitive is pretty good. If someone lowers his stat, his special attack gets doubled. So, in my mind, he's going to be good against Sticky Web with like a White Herb or Agility to neutralize the speed drop, and then also get the special attack boost. But that probably won't actually happen. But I still love Piplup. Next we have OG and Anobi, our first of 2 Z captains. It's Solosis, tied with Abra, I believe, for the highest special attack at 105. He's really slow at 20 speed, but he learns Trick Room. So if he uses Trick Room, the slow Pokemon move first for 5 turns. And he's usually the slowest guy, I think. He's got 2 really good abilities in Magic Guard and Regenerator, but he's not that bulky, so we probably won't be using Regenerator that much. Probably mostly Magic Guard. As opposed to his most evolved form, Reuniclus, which can use Regenerator because of how much hit points it has. How large its hit point stat is. So mostly I wanted him because now I've got Abra and Solosis for 2 Magic Guard Psychic Pokemon. So if my opponent doesn't have a Dark type, like a Steel type to resist Psychic, they are going to have a hard time dealing with both of these guys. We have Josh Hart. This is Voltorb. I wanted to pick Voltorb Hisui second, but someone picked him in the first round. So when we got back to here, I was thinking between Voltorb and Magnemite, and I decided on Voltorb because I wanted the speed. I believe he's the fastest Pokemon in the tier, with 100 base speed. Tied with Voltorb Hisui, obviously, also 100 base speed, and Elekid was 95 base speed, but since the stats are so low, they both hit 20 speed, I think. He's mostly just fast, and hopefully I can like Volt Switch out into like an Abra or something if I threaten out the opposing guy. We have Precious Achua. That's Dwebble. I picked Dwebble to lead mostly. He's got 2 great abilities in Sturdy and Weak Armor. Weak Armor isn't something I usually see outside of Little Cup, so I wanted to try it. Basically, if you get hit by a physical attack, your defense lowers by 1 stage, but your speed is doubled. So if you survive that hit, you get really fast. And Sturdy's also good as a lead, because you always survive a hit. Any attacking hit. And it's really good in Little Cup, because Dwebble has 21 hit points, and if you give him a berry juice, he'll go down to 1 hit point, eat his berry juice, recover 20 hit points, and go back to full health. So he gets to use Sturdy twice. So the main thing for Dwebble is to set up spikes and Stealth Rock, but he also has Shell Smash, so he could do offensive things. We have Carl Anthony Towns as our last Pokemon. He's our other Z captain. This is Clobopus. I wanted a fighting type, so that's how we got to him. The only other fighting type, because I had like 4 points left, was Meditite. And Meditite's banned normally, so I guess they decided to ban Meditite's ability instead, which makes it good. So I figured if I'm not using the good ability, I'm not even going to bother. I'm going to try out Clobopus. So, Technician I guess, is alright. He doesn't have very many moves, so I think like Power Punch is the only move I'd want to use that gets boosted by Technician. But Limber's pretty good. It prevents him from getting paralyzed. And this is our team. We've got 8 guys, 2 Z captains. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to trying something new, and 1 in Little Cup and 2 with the Z moves. So, see you next week.